Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to be joining everybody here today. Normally I kick off with a nice applause, and I don't want to applaud for myself. No? Just in case the rest sucks, I got my applause out, so that's good, right? So how many people are here for a second, third, fourth time? Okay, so you like pain, right? So I think a lot of you that attended before saw the old platform. So I spruced things up a little bit, and as you probably know, those folks that attended before, I start out with a PowerPoint, move into a web demo. So we'll kick off. And I also want to thank Frank and David Burke and Susan and her sister and everybody else at FEI bringing me back again for more fun today. He's given me an hour and a half. So normally you're used to an hour. So you know I've got power if I was able to secure an hour and a half. Right, or they just need a filler. Filler, okay. So here's the agenda. So I will set some expectations. I talk about myself because I like to talk about myself. Now I will do a little promo about Experience Finance. That should take just an hour, so don't worry, that'll be really light. But then I will do a full LinkedIn demo, and we'll ask questions because we're not a shy group. So those that have attended before have heard me say this. I want to help you link up with those that you know that you didn't know that you knew. And so I know a lot of you meet with people in a networking setting, one-to-one or peer-to-peer, and you'll say to each other, because you looked at your networks and you said, oh, you know John Paul, and you're like, who? Well, John Paul. Well, you're connected to John Paul on LinkedIn. I thought you knew him. No. Well, John would be good for you to know, and you already know John, and you didn't know that you knew John. Right? Does that make sense? And in the room, I'm assuming we have a mix of expertise. Those that attended my LinkedIn program, you're an expert level. Is that true? No? Okay. How many kind of novice level folks in the room? Wow. Okay. So when I go to intermediate, means you're using it, you have a good idea how to use it, you feel somewhat comfortable, room for improvement. Okay, wonderful. And is there anyone here would be kind of at my level? wait, there's a couple.
Maybe you're right.
And that gentleman over there, yeah. You guys know Sean? Yeah. Sean's an expert. Sean, you've been to 4 programs of mine? Okay. Good deal. He's a banker. Yeah, so that doesn't count.
Better than you.
How many folks here in the room today are in a transition stage of their career? Now, this was not the transition session, is that right? This was not a transition. So we know things happen in the financial world. How many of you are considering a change and you hate your job? And your boss is not here. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that today, but I think in general, whether you're working or not, because we know that financial executives typically will work yourselves out of a job every 2 to 3 years, right? Who's done that one? That's fun, right? It's great. Good times. Okay, so we want you to highlight your experience. You should always have that. And so that could be leadership, your financial, your technical, your industry experience. And then you should promote the corporate brand of your company. And then I also know a lot of you make a transition. I had lunch with a gentleman today. He said, you know, no more corporate. He said, I want to do something else. I want to be an owner. Wow, be your own boss. That'd be cool, right? So has anyone rebranded themselves and kind of left the corporate world, doing their own thing? Rich, right? So we tend to do those things. So that's okay. This will help you. And then helping you secure peer-to-peer meetings, right? So some of you network with each other, especially if you are looking for a job. Why not network with a fellow peer and that is already working, that may be getting calls from recruiters? And then helping you just expand your network with business partners, board members, people like myself. How many of you network at least once a week, even though you're employed? How about people employed? How many of you are networking, just a pure networking meeting, one-to-one, once a week, once a month? That's good. That's something you should do no matter what, right? Because you never know what's going to happen out there. Keep the network fresh. And, you know, it's people that are in that situation where you work 20 years and you're thrown into transition and you didn't build up that network. You're starting from scratch. We don't want that to happen. And then we'll talk about groups, and then I am your SME. We all know what an SME is, subject matter expert. So track the results of using my methodologies, let me know. So this is my favorite slide. Was a bit tanner during that picture. So I am the regional managing director of Experis Finance. I think people know Experis Finance as the Jefferson Wells name. Does anyone remember that name? So it really is the same company. And I've been in sales, operations, leadership for 28 years. Started with LinkedIn, getting to know LinkedIn as a recruiter. So I know the recruitment side when there were about 1 million members in LinkedIn, and so I've been using it a long time. And speaking, I'm actually about to hit my 10th year speaking internationally about LinkedIn. Thank you to Frank. He has referred me to Appleton, Wisconsin, where I'll be speaking in November. Right. Don't laugh, Appleton is good.
My brother's from there.
There you go. And Minneapolis. I'll be speaking at FEI Minneapolis in January. Thanks again for that one, Frank. January in Minneapolis. Good time. Yeah, can't wait. That'll be good. So, I've been presenting to a lot of different groups. FEI definitely a number of times. And I work with all types of companies and go into companies and train their sales forces. And actually CFOs have brought me in to train their sales forces because they know better than the head of sales about the productivity of the sales force, right? Because the head of sales says everyone's doing a great job. The CFO says, no, 5 of your 6 are terrible because they sell below margin, right? Does that resonate? Okay. So I've done a lot, though, with people in transition. And so it's important, I think, understanding this is a great tool. While you're in transition or while you're working, you want to keep up a sharp profile and networking. I won't talk too much about Experis Finance, but I think if you've heard of us, know of us as Jefferson Wells, Experis Finance is under the Manpower umbrella of companies, a $20 billion global company. And so we do everything from project solutions, consulting, professional resourcing, and we hire people in permanent roles. So a lot of you going into transition may say, I've had it with corporate, want to consult. We're a good home for that. And as well, we do hire on people like a public accounting firm. We emulate a public accounting firm where we carry a bench of salaried full-time professionals. So those are the great things we do in risk advisory, finance, accounting, tax. Great stuff about us. We're global. A lot of awards. I'm done. All right, that was painless. So you guys have seen this slide before. Some of you, I talked about Batman. We may have some Batman fans. Maybe Wonder Woman. I probably should change this up. Corbin, you like Wonder? Okay. So on Vengeance on the Night, I'm really getting sick of your LinkedIn invites, and so a lot of you joined LinkedIn because someone said it's a good tool, it's free to join. And a lot of you who are novice level are probably feeling like, why am I on there? So I built this profile, put a picture where I work, where I worked, where I went to school, said some great stuff about myself, and then people connect with you, you connect with people, but it sits there like, maybe if you're on Facebook or Twitter, some of the other social media, it just sits there with a bunch of people, a network, and a profile. Anyone feel that way sometimes? You don't know what to do with it, it's up there, you're glad it's there, but you never look at it. Anybody feel that way sometimes? Oh. So people are starting to use it, or you're afraid to raise your hand? Okay. So we're going to talk more about what this all means on LinkedIn, because there are 3 degrees of a network. I'm going to get to in the next slide. And the first degree, I'm hovering 30,000. I'm at 29, I think I'm almost at 29,900. But you know, we capped at 30,000. Is there anyone in the room that's kind of hit that 30,000 plateau, 1,000 plateau? Everyone in the room should have at least 500 connections. You guys feel that you're there? You're business professionals, at least 500. I honestly think at the level of expertise in this room and the maturity, not the old age, the maturity level, you should probably have 1,000, right? You would think, right? 1,000 people you know really well. Followers, I have 29,000. You know, you could follow people that you're not connected to. That's a good thing to do. Sometimes you want to follow your peers. You ever follow a CFO you're not connected to, but they're in your industry, so you want to follow what they're doing. So I'm happy to connect with the folks in the room, and those that know me know that I do help when you ask, right? Any that know? Have I helped anyone in the room? Okay, wonderful. So I do help. Let's talk about bacon, Kevin Bacon. So we played the 6 degrees of separation game to get to Kevin Bacon. So on LinkedIn, what I talk about is the second degree, the power of the second degree in the upper right. So Kevin Bacon is a second degree connection to me. So Jerry, you've been through this. I'm going to see if Jerry's listened during the presentations. Jerry, so we're connected on LinkedIn for years. So we're first degree connections. I have almost 30,000 connections, right? So now that we're connected, what's second degree to you? I'm first degree, what's second degree?
I would think the people that you're first degree.
Right, the 29,000, awesome. So he was listening, that's good. What's third degree?
Kevin Bacon.
Pardon me?
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon? Well, it could be.
If he's not connected to him too.
Yeah, correct. The third degree are the people connected to the 29,000. So that's very far removed. So ideally what you want to do, if you're going to build a good network for finding a job or for other purposes using LinkedIn, you want to build a solid first degree network. So I always say, like, if you're all CFOs, would you say a lot of CFOs are connected to other CFOs? Right, just follow suit. CEOs connect with CEOs. So it's all good. What we want to focus on today is not so much your first degree, but who do those people know? It will all make sense as we continue on. Here's a little history slide on LinkedIn. Founded in 2002, launched in 2003. We heard about the acquisition. Microsoft, $26 billion acquisition of LinkedIn. Any of your companies on like Microsoft Dynamics, CRM? Yep. Outlook 365. So you're going to see more integration with LinkedIn. They are starting to move forward, make some of those changes. So a lot of people, I started with LinkedIn when there were 1 million members. 500 million today. Actually, 530 million today. So it's growing fast. Facebook's well over 1 billion, right? So they got to catch up. People are signing up fast. But, you know, these kids are coming on board. Not high schoolers. How many of you have kids in college, going to college, recent grads? Are your kids on LinkedIn? Any of your kids on LinkedIn? Get them on. Some people go, well, my kid's going to be an engineer. You know, not a salesperson. Doesn't matter, right? Whatever they're going to do, get them started. Do not put your high school kids in there, please. We don't want them in there. So LinkedIn revenue is really coming through corporate recruitment memberships. How many of your companies pay those corporate recruitment membership fees, right? Thousands of dollars. A lot of you have corporate recruiters. You know how much a license costs, a seat, for one LinkedIn recruiter license? Anybody know?
10,000?
10,000? No. No. It's about $1,800. $1,800. So it's expensive. Now you can buy corporate recruitment memberships, which your companies do, thousands of dollars, and then sales-related memberships. So those that have the P&L right in the room or have had it, you know you've looked at those expenses. And you know, I would always question your teams. Are they using it? How are they using it? How are they tracking it? You know, on the recruitment side and also on the sales side. And then a lot of people actually belong to groups. And this is the revenue distribution. Did you all see LinkedIn's platform change first quarter this year? You opened it up, you said, what the heck happened? Where is everything? You used to understand it, now you don't. So it has changed. Well, the reason they changed it is because they want to increase this number here. Now, the people in the room here will always have an option for a free membership. Does anyone in the room pay for a membership? Wow. Okay. Those that raise your hands, do you have more of a job seeker membership? Yeah. Does anyone have more of a networking sales membership? Okay. Mary Ann doesn't count. She works for me. Okay. Doesn't count. But okay. So the job seeker is fine, right? That's good and that's expected for some. What I talk about today is free. You don't have to go buy a membership. But LinkedIn definitely wants to increase their revenue. So I thought I'd have fun for just a brief moment. And I'm going to relate why I'm doing this LinkedIn quiz. You didn't think you'd have a quiz already, right? That's not fair. But I'd like to see how well people know the folks at FEI. So, and FEI folks cannot answer, meaning, you know, people really, like FEI members, fine. But we don't want Frank answering and people like that. So, how about this one? Very active former CFO controller in FEI, very involved in mentoring and leading programs for our future financial leaders. Anybody know who that is? Yes. That's awesome. So when I'm done, you get to pick one of these lovely gift items here at the front. Yeah, spent millions of dollars on that. That's fantastic. It's true. How about very involved in FEI, has a voice destined for stardom. He or she does voiceover work too. Kathy, who is that?
Steve Kalisher.
You guys know Steve Kalisher? He pipes, right? Yeah. Very involved with FEI and CFO of a company as a product protects your skin from the sun. One of their products. Rich?
Frank.
Frank Cesario, yeah, right? That white stuff, right? Okay. CFO and consultant, very involved with FEI, fluent in Spanish and has financial leadership roles, consulting roles in the past for restaurants, insurance, even currently. Andy?
Maggie?
Maggie.
Yeah.
You guys should know these FEI folks, right? How about this? Two former, not presidents, right? Not Clinton, right? Not Bush, who both worked at Alberto Culver. This is a tough one.
Otis.
Okay. We got Otis. He's a kind of taller guy. John. What? Oh yeah.
Trexellus.
Trexellus. So those that answered, again, these lovely gifts over here. How about this one? Extra movies. Planes, trains, automobiles, backtrack. Anybody know what it is?
Cherry Navani.
Yeah. Anybody? Yeah.
Thanks, Marty.
It's me. Now, why did I do this exercise? How many of you looked at my profile on LinkedIn before coming to the session today? Now look at that, right? So I'm going to waste 90 minutes of your time. And you didn't even look me up to go like, who is this guy talking about LinkedIn? He's not even a CPA. You know, who does he think he is? So the idea here is it doesn't matter. You should be looking at the profiles of people you meet with. How many of you go to a board meeting, audit committee meeting, and look at the profiles of the people come to that meeting? How many of you have done that, right? It's a good thing to do, right? Look at the profiles. Because people are looking at your profiles. I go to a meeting with an executive, they will look me up. But for this one, you didn't. So I'm glad you decided to waste your time with me, and hopefully it'll be a good use of time.
Well, we all know you.
Well, very good, yes. So let's talk about this slide, because this is important to me. I'm trying to drive home what LinkedIn is, because we have a lot of novice level. So those from the past sessions have seen this object. The new folks probably recognize it. We know in the past sessions, there are some people that have a functioning Rolodex that they still use today. Does anyone want to raise their hand and tell the group that they do that still? Anybody brave enough? No? I don't. So we talk about a Rolodex on LinkedIn, which is the way I describe the electronic Rolodex. Because in the past, when we would network, we would never have access in a meeting with somebody, right? If I'm meeting with Randall, years ago, even in a meeting with Randall, as much as he may like me, he would never grant me access to the Rolodex. Did you ever do that? Anybody? No. This is your coveted contacts. So in the past, when Randall and I would meet, and if I asked him for his Rolodex at the end of that meeting, you would say, no, that's my Rolodex, those are my protected contacts and relationships. But fast forward to LinkedIn, and we recently met about a year or so ago. And so Randall and I meet, we get together, and there's an exchange on LinkedIn where we connect with each other. Sometimes even before we meet. Have you had that? Even some of you are like, oh, someone's coming to meet with you, public accounting firm person, Experis type, and you send out, hey, I look forward to meeting with you, send an invite. And then you've granted me access to your network, your Rolodex. Now, it doesn't mean that if I ask you for an introduction, Randall, that you're going to give it to me. But I can actually see some of the people you know. Can I make a broad assumption that most of you, the networks that you built on LinkedIn, that you know a fair amount of those people? Like them, right? I know when I can look at a CFO profile and there's 222 connections, that you scrutinized every one of them, right? So anyone under 500, I know you're like, nope, I'm not connected with that one. And you've probably already flushed out the people you didn't want anymore. So this is a Rolodex that you can have 24/7 for anybody. So as you're looking for jobs, now you have access to everyone's network. If you're connected to me, you can look at any time, like during the Bears game, right? And look at my network and pick up who you want to know. Now, have you been asked to help out family members, friends, business peers, those employed? You're getting asked to make connections and introductions. How many get those requests? Your kids, dad, mom, I got to get into this company. Help me out, want an internship. Do you ever turn down those requests because you go, I don't know anyone at that company. I can't help you. I don't know anyone at HSBC. I don't know anyone at Abbott Labs. Don't say no, because your network that you've built may be connected to one or more people that do know those people. So I talk about being a connector. I've talked about this a lot, so I'm a connector. And you're going, I'm a financial executive. I don't need to be a connector. Are there any financial executives in the room that do make connections, that help their team, help friends, family, peers, that are kind of connectors, right? Try, right? You can be a very good connector if you use LinkedIn the right way, so I'm a very good connector. So I'm going to help you use it in a better way. Bless you. And I think we can all be trusted advisors, should be perceived that way, and LinkedIn helps us do that. How many of you are thought leaders? How many of you post information and insights on some of the new technical accounting standards, right? So if you post anything about lease accounting, revenue recognition, anything exciting out there?
Debits equal credits.
Debits, wow. Well, very technical guy. Okay, so on LinkedIn, if you see off to the upper right, this is where you can post updates. I'll talk about that today. If you're very good on film, you can now do videos and post videos. That's very exciting. And then this is on the phone. So the phone app, and you can also do, there's a video icon, you could do videos right from the phone. So if you're interested. But I'm going to talk about thought leadership, because those in transition, this is a way you get people attracted to you, to see your expertise. And those that are working, you may want to share an update, something interesting. It could be about your company, it could be something technical. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the specifics of how to post stuff?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to walk you through that. So I just briefly want to talk about networking. So, a salesperson is a network different than a financial executive, right? But I have to tell you, I think financial executives are some of the best networkers. And Mary Ann's heard me, because like salespeople go, no, we're really good networkers. But I think financial executives are better networkers, because you do lose that job, right? 24 to 36 months, you're here networking, right? With a Cubs game coming on, today. This is great, right? So you guys are great networkers, and I think when we network, when Rich Winters and I network, we talk about family, personal stuff, and what's going on with our business updates. What's happening with my company, what's happening with Rich, look for his next career, and who does he want to meet? And then this is the problem that I find when people want to get introduced to people, that they don't have their own introduction created. So How many of you create your introduction after my past sessions? Anybody create some? Has it been helpful? Can you tell me how it's been helpful, Rich? How's
Well,
it?
you want to minimize the work that the other person has to do since they're the one doing you a favor. So make it as easy as possible for them to do what you are kind of hoping they'll do for you.
Especially you can control what they're saying.
Right. So here's what I talk about. Yeah, Rich.
Well, to that point, but don't you, I mean, I've always said, here's what I'd like you to say, but I got to give you the freedom to change it because it's your words and if it doesn't sound like you or whatever, you got to give the person the option to change.
Well, so what we're talking about is there's a homework exercise. I know it's hard to believe I'm giving you homework. I want everyone to think about creating their own introduction. This is to help you. It's to help those that you know, because you can pass this on, right? So things that you're learning today, you may go, I'll do it. But I can pass this on to other people. How do I introduce Rich Winters to someone else for a job? Or if his child wants help, how do I introduce his child? And so we struggle. Have you been asked to introduce somebody to someone else? Maybe to a fellow financial exec, and you're like, oh my God, what do I say about Larry, right? You're gonna just do a terrible job of introducing me. It's never gonna sound the way I like it, right? You're gonna be like, yeah, this Larry guy, good networker, he talks about this LinkedIn thing. You'll probably say thing in there, right? Because you don't know social media and technology. And he's a good networker, someone you should know, right? Instead, I've written my introduction, but if you can write your introduction, there are times that you want to be introduced to a potential business partner, or a trusted advisor, or a banker, right? CPA firm. Let people introduce you the way you want to be introduced. So this is me creating my intro, and what Rich was saying, and Jim, is I allow people the freedom and flexibility to tailor it. They don't have to use it verbatim. But I will say a lot of people use it verbatim. Why? Because we're busy people. And so if I'm making it easy for people to introduce me, what if you want to be introduced to a board member more formally? Never really had the chance. You want to get your CEO to introduce you to a board member. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll make it easy. Let me give you my introduction. Why not do that, right? Good stuff? So how can LinkedIn benefit you in your relationship? So I see multiple ways LinkedIn can be helpful. So recruiter career position. So how do you help a family member? A client of the company. What happened in, yes, Randall?
Quick question about the introduction.
Yeah.
When you said you're a connector, so it might be different for you, but I have people that want me to introduce them to other people. So I have somebody who wants to meet Rich. Do you copy them on that introduction, which kind of obligates Rich to talk to them, or do you just send it to Rich first and say, do you want to meet this guy?
It's all about your relationship and the way you want to do it. I know some people be like, let me call Rich and make sure it's okay. You want to meet this Larry guy? And Rich goes, no way. No way. Or he sounds astounding. Of course I do. So it's all up to you on the relationship you have and what you want to do. So yes, I'm a leader. I'm not a sales guy. See, but I wouldn't say sales guy in my intro. But it's all up to the individual. It's your relationship. When someone is asking for a connection, some people I know well enough, I can make an intro. They trust my judgment and know when I make that intro, it's well intended and it's going to be good for everybody involved. Does that make sense? So the first point I was referencing, FEI, there was a board member in FEI in Appleton. Keep laughing because he's from Appleton. And so they had asked for a connection for his daughter who wanted a sales role in a CPG company. So I went and looked in LinkedIn and I found some recruiters. We don't do that at our firm. And was able to find those resources. You could do that too. You could be resourceful. Internship. You can help anyone find an internship. So definitely, this is not all just about you and finding a job, right? But this is helping others and your family members, your friends. Maybe helping out a trusted advisor like Sean that's with the bank, and Sean wants to meet a CFO. I think you would all help Sean, right? Yes, thank you. Sean's just trying to help you out. Okay, benchmarking, networking introduction. You could facilitate this yourself, right? You're like, I'm in healthcare. right? So George, you like healthcare, so how do you meet some folks in healthcare and network with those folks that are planted firmly in a company, and you want to get connected and benchmark, network, etc. Finding a vendor, a business partner, a service provider. You hate your cable company. You hate your gas company. Believe me, I've gone on there and I found the high-end people, and I could reach out and I could yell and scream. Has anyone ever used LinkedIn for like finding an acquisition because they're not giving you the budget to hire firms, so you got to do the sourcing yourself? Anyone done that? You thought about it? Think about your industry. You can go on and find a company anywhere in the globe and find that connectivity to second-degree, leadership, board members, and make a connection. Do some due diligence. Look at the profiles. Maybe you're bringing on a new person on the board, audit committee. Look them up. Talk to people you share in common. And succession planning, sourcing team members. Yes, we help companies with that, but I'm a realist because some of you have budget control. Anyone have budget control, cost control, got to do things ourselves? If you do, you can use LinkedIn to help build out your team or your succession plan. So, Alec Baldwin, not the Trump version, but the Glenn Geary, Glenn Ross, remember? Always be connecting. You can still be closing, but I think always be connecting. And I think those of you going through this transition, it comes around, goes around, keep connecting, keep networking. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about the website itself. And what I shared with you is I have a network of almost 30,000. So what does that mean? It means I've been a very open networker. I've converted to be selective because I cap at 30,000. So I am now taking out my connections from North Korea, Russia, working my way back here, and letting in some folks. But we're going to talk about the network you've built. And I really think you should have a selective network. So a lot of data that I got to convert today into information you're going to use. And so I did promise that I would show you the site and how to use this tool. So I'm going to log back into LinkedIn. Here we are. You guys all know how to log into your account, email address, password. Anyone remember their password? Probably not, right? I used to work for Plant Moran, and the former managing partner called me in after he left and said he'd like me to do some one-on-one training on LinkedIn. Got to his office, we sat down, we're at his computer. I said, okay, open up your account. He goes, you know my password? I said, no. So that training was over. Okay, so here is the homepage of LinkedIn. So the things I'm going to show you, right here is the updates that you would share on the homepage. Has anyone ever posted an update here? John, what have you posted?
I think going on business, or I posted articles, or I've done, or I've been to a meeting and I just, I might say here, heard a great talk by Larry at FEI.
There you go, I like that. I like that. So you can post an update here of anything. Anything, it could be about your charity, it could be about your company, right? So you can do anything here, an update about something happening in the business, maybe something you want to talk about. Just made an acquisition that you could talk about, right? So it could be, more of a private type of update that's related to your charity, or it could be related to your business. So you can do an update here, and I mentioned you can do the video, and once you start typing it in, so you could go, well, I do want to find Larry and recognize him, so you could find me and look me up, and here I am, and you click on me, so it links back to me. So you use the @ sign to recognize a company or a person. And you can put that in there, and you go, well, I want to post that, and I could post it to who? Well, the public in Twitter, if you're tied to Twitter, and just to your connections itself. Now, the other thing you could do, though, if I come back here, is you can write an article on LinkedIn. Has anyone written an article on LinkedIn? So we're going to come back here. So you can write an article which is different than a post. A post is kind of a limited character count. But writing an article here is something that you could put in information that would flow nicely with a nice picture that's approved and free. and you could put in bullets and nice fonts, and it really could be something technical. It could be, you know what, you're just in that mode where you want to talk about something interesting, and you're sick of talking about accounting and finance. And you want to talk about something that's going to really resonate with people. Feel free. Just be cautious if you work for a publicly held company, what you say, right? But this is an area that you can come in and write an article. Now, if you look over here, yeah.
Do you like do a draft for yourself in Word and import it, or copy and paste it, or you have to write the article?
You can write an article, and now you can save drafts and send those to people, like your marketing people, to review it and say you misspelled everything. So I'll go in and I'll review it a bunch of times before I hit that official post and send.
But do you do it in Word and then copy it and paste, or you have to?
Well, yeah, you could do a copy and paste, from what I remember. I think you can copy and paste. I've never done it. I always do an article right from within LinkedIn. So, but I will check on that for you, because that's the only way that I've done it. So, yeah, you copied and
It
pasted?
just seems safer that way.
I copy and paste.
So, hey, you can copy and paste. Thank you. So, this is where my posts are, and so in my posts, so I've got Kathy and our team up here doing a nice post. The great thing about posting and sharing something on LinkedIn is you get analytics. And I know that's very big today. So I could view the analytics of this, that there was 1,000 people, and I could see where those came from, types of people it came from, and the cities that it came from. And I could see if people reshared it. So it's kind of a really nice feature within LinkedIn to be able to have the analytics. And you know, when you do any kind of posting, the great thing is it could be as long as you want it to be, to a degree, because it is going to cut off. On the articles, it doesn't. Now, I wrote this one. This one's good for those in transition to read about keywords. And once you post something, if you rethink and you go, you know what, I want to edit it, or I don't like the way it came out, you could delete it. Or you can copy a link and share it with people so they can like and share it. What I'll tell you is a lot of people tell me, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to post. So I'll tell you to come into your home page and come into the search window and find something to share with your network. What's a hot topic? You know, lease accounting, rev rec. What else is hot besides credits and debits? What's topical today in the financial executive community?
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. So if I type in cybersecurity and I come over here and I click content, what I could do is I could find things that come up with cybersecurity. Now, when you type in 2 words together or more, my recommendation is it's not a bad idea to put it in quotes, because you can get things about security, you can get things about cyber. So I'm just going to keep it together. You guys know who that is? As an island.
Iron Man.
A lot of money. Okay, so we look down here, you know, you may want to share things. You go, you know what, this is topical. Or if it's something in your industry for your company, why can't you share it? Has anyone shared anything from your company page? Yeah, right? That's a good thing to do, share information about your company. Why can't we all be brand ambassadors and marketers of our own companies, right? So we don't have to rely upon the marketing people. Any questions? Yeah.
So sometimes there's articles that show up on your, your profile, and you press like. Does that share that article with others in your network, or?
It goes in your feed. So it goes in your feed. So like I like to share and make a comment. That's what I like to do. Liking is fine, so someone may see in your network, because you're in their network, and in their feed, on their homepage, like you're seeing my homepage of 30,000 global people sharing all types of fun stuff, right? But you have a more controlled network, but yeah, you're going to be in their feed, right? And so depends, you know, if you want to like something, but sometimes I want to share it, and I want to share a comment. I may recognize the person that they shared a great article, wrote something nice, a great post. Janine McGrill likes to like things and share things. She reshares my stuff. She is original, but she does like to take my stuff. But I like it because it's good for my ego.
So you're looking at that right now, are any of those people that like that post and it's coming to you? Is that because they like
If
this?
someone in my network like it, if
Right.
someone in my network, they'll come up my feed. I have such a big feed with 30,000, or some of you with 500 connections, very manageable, right? It's like we're connected and you see me post something, you guys see it, right? You're like, oh, that Larry posted crap again. Thanks a lot. Like, let me remove it. You could remove that too, right? So you could hide my posts. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but all good questions. So really what I want to share this homepage is really about posting. And here's what people are talking about. So you can take a look at that. You may want to share that information. So what I really want to talk about real quickly, so what I'm doing is going through the training guide in your binder. So when I come over to me, I'm going to show you settings and privacy. So I got a lot of ground to cover. We're going to wrap at 4:30, so I'm going to go really fast from this point on so we get to a lot of key things. But settings and privacy is something you're going to go through on your own. Real important because a lot of you set up your profiles and probably didn't adjust your settings. And so, you know, if you happen to see someone that you're networking with this icon on their profile, they're paying for a membership. You can tell I'm not lying. I'm just hovering 29,000. I started in 04. There's 3 levels here in the settings and privacy: account, privacy and communications. Email addresses, have at least 2. Those are in transition. I know you all had 2 because you still have access. If you only had your company address, what would have happened? You would have lost your account, right? Because you lost your email address. That's your access. You know what? Add a phone number. I think your business email address should be your secondary. It's up to you. Anyone with LinkedIn Recruiter, at least in my company, they have to use their business email address. I'm not going to say the name of the bank. It starts with an N. Their social media policy. All employees must use their business email address. Now, part of that's FINRA, but I present to FINRA-regulated organizations do not require that. How many of your companies have a social media policy? How many of you know your social media policy? Yeah, probably not, so double check that. Phone number is good, added layer of security if you want it. Name, location, industry. So here's what I'll tell you here. When you click on this and just make a note, go back to your profile. A lot of people in transition, I know what you guys did in transition. You did make a change in your profile. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. On the name, location, industry, I will tell you here for name, I did capitalize my name completely. A lot of people talk about that. That's not a good thing to do. They don't like seeing that. You guys know, like Randall who capitalized, Rich, we do it for a reason. We do it because we want to jump out. And I know those in transition, let's face it, we will look for you as recruiters on LinkedIn. So be keyword driven. And maybe some of you have very specialized financial or accounting expertise, system expertise, right? And so you'll come up in a search and maybe it's only 20 people. And you're the only one in all caps. And so the recruiter's eyes, hiring eyes may be drawn to that. Some people say it's shouting and it's unprofessional. I don't think so. Because a lot of us have all caps because you've been to my program. It's really a sign of a big ego. Correct? Okay. So let me move on to a couple settings I think are important. So what I will tell you, go through all these settings here under account. I'm not going to go through those now. Privacy. Your profile is searchable on the internet. So under edit your public profile, you can control what people see when they find you on the internet. So by default, you're found on the internet. You can change it. Who can see your connections? A lot of people tell me, look, you know what, I want to hide that online Rolodex. This is your network. I don't care what you do with it. You want to hide it, you hide it. By default, we see all the people you know. If you created a network of people you know, like, and trust, who cares if everyone sees who you're connected to? But this is your network, your profile, your account. Sharing profile edits, make a note about this one. Mine's at no. Those in transition, you guys know about this, right? Keep it at no. Those that aren't, you may make changes to your profile. Change it to no, because you know what? Every time you make a change, like after today, your network gets an email. They may not like getting all those emails. So what I recommend is turn it to no. You'll make some changes after the things I share with you today. So make all your changes to your profile, save one, switch it to yes, then make that last change. Those in transition have been in my program before. Why do you do that? You may know. Pardon me?
Get your name out.
Well, you're getting your name out, but what you're doing is you're going to make a beautiful profile. Because after today, you're going to realize, you know what? Profile needs work. So you're going to give it that work, give it a makeover. This will take you time, right? Because you're busy. Those working, you're not going to work on this. You may even throw my binder away, right? Or forget it. So you're going to make subtle changes over time. So what you're going to do is switch it to no, make all your changes so your network doesn't get upset with all these email updates about your changes. Make all your changes, save one, switch it to yes. You make that last one, I get one email about your updates. It's a beautiful profile. So all the people you know that call you ham and transition need your help, what are you going to tell them to do? Switch your profile setting to no, right? How about profile viewing options? You see people checking you out? You check out people, right? You look at their profiles. Hey, you're a CFO. You don't want people to see you check that you're checking them out, right? So maybe you want to go to more of an anonymous mode, or you want to show people that you've been checking out their profile. It's up to you. A lot of people have it checked. Free members, keep it checked and look at what people are doing when they look at your profile. So here's what I mean by that. So if I look over here, this is who's viewing my profile. Anybody in the room that we see? How you doing, people? What's up? People checking me out, okay? That's fine. That means your headline's checked. As a free member, you see about 5 people a day checking you out, but if we're anonymous, you don't see that. Even a paid member, I don't see that. But, you know, what if it's like, you know, Tom? Tom was my client in public accounting. He's still with that firm. So, like, Tom checks me out. I didn't come here today. I'm like, holy cow, Tom was checking me out. So maybe my something in a search he did, my name came up, he checked it out. They didn't call me, they didn't email me, so I'm like, hey Tom, what's up, buddy? You were checking me out. Saw you on LinkedIn, we should get together. Larry, leave me alone. That was an accident. Okay. So, let's go back to some settings. So, a couple other things. I'm going to tell you, look at these on your own, but a couple of things are important. Remember, you could follow people. Like, you can remove people, and you could block people. Has anyone blocked someone from their network? Those that attended my program, remember that's the ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, ex-husband, you know, fiance that you broke off with. You block them from your profile. What happens? They go to look at you on LinkedIn, they can't find you, they think you died. And it works, it really does. Now, removing, you go, you know what, I'm going to remove some people, I don't feel they're a good part of my network. When you remove someone, they're not notified. So, let me go back, and let's pull up someone. So, should I pull up, it's not nice to do this, is it? Let's pull up Frank. You see there was another Frank Cesario. There's a couple of them out there. Okay, so I look at Frank and I go, you know what? I'm going to click on these 3 dots. Maybe I'll share his profile. Maybe it's saved to a PDF. You know what? I'm going to remove him. So you can remove him here. And I can report. Frank is abusing LinkedIn. Please pull him off. No. I can block him and I can unfollow. And I can request a recommendation. So, and I can recommend Frank. So a lot of things you could do. And if you go on the phone app, if you pull up a profile, you can click on the 3 dots and you can personalize an invite. You guys know how to connect with someone on LinkedIn? So is anyone in the room not connected to me or hasn't sent me an invite? I can show you the new way we're doing it. It's the one in there, I'm sorry, the second to last row there. What's your name?
Suzanne H. Gilbert.
Suzanne,
H. Gilbert.
and it is H. I can't hear you back there. I'm
Yeah,
old.
Gilbert. Yeah, and then Gilbert.
Okay. Is that you?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, Suzanne, thank you for volunteering. By the way, awesome picture. I wasn't going to critique you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Suzanne. We'll get you there. After today, you will be 500 plus. Now, always go on a profile someone you want to connect to. Connect with those board members, right? Connect with powerful people. But click connect. Now add a note. Remember when it was like, hey, you're an alumni, or you would say you're a friend, but you really weren't, but you felt funny? Like, I don't know how else to connect. I'll say I'm a friend, but you know that you weren't. So add a note and say something really nice, right? So I like saying that. There you go, Suzanne. Now, I'm sending an invite. Now, LinkedIn paid memberships, you can send an email, which is with a paid membership. With a free, you can use this invite like an email. And it's got a limited character count. See, I'm about 300 characters. So I'm sending the invitation, and maybe Suzanne will accept, maybe she won't. I will be hurt if you don't. Okay, so those are some of the settings. Let's come back real quick.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you're looking, you see somebody has a profile on LinkedIn. As soon as you click on that profile, do they always get, unless you turn your setting off, they get notified that you looked at them?
No, you don't get a
No,
notification.
does that person that you click on get notified that you looked at them?
What you get is sometimes in your notification section, you will see notifications of people viewed your profile. So you will see a notification. So sometimes it's whoever was the last few that looked, it just prompts you to go see who viewed your profile.
But by the
It's
concept
not an
that you're
automatic,
checking
it's not like
somebody
an
out.
automatic email. You go look, and you're looking at my profile, and I get an email. Quick, Suzanne's checking you out. Quick, call her, email her. Is that what you're asking? Right?
Right, that the only way that other person you're checking out won't know it is if you put it on.
Hide yourself. Hide yourself anonymous or the middle option. There was another question? Yes, sir?
Larry, when I ask someone to connect on my computer, I always send a note. Well, but when I do it on my phone app, it doesn't seem to give me that option.
Did you hear I said on the phone app? So on the phone app, there's going to be 3 dots. You click on their profile, just like I showed you on the profile with Frank. So click on the 3 dots, and you'll see the ability to personalize an invite.
Okay.
Now, some people require an email address because they changed the setting in their privacy settings. So you need their email address to connect with them as well. But good questions. Yes?
This may be a little out of, under your picture, you have a background there. People, how do you change this? Do you go behind your picture?
Yeah, I'll show you that in a moment. Perfect. Yes?
I want to get back to the notice, like 6 people looked you up, and now you see just companies. It says 3 people from Children's Hospital looked you up, and I remember to see specific the names.
Okay. No, only if you see names, you see names. If you don't, it's hidden.
It's in.
Yes. Mary Ann?
When you look at someone's profile and you don't have an opportunity, there's not a connect button, have they deactivated something that you can't connect with them?
Some of the influencers have done that, but when you look over here, so let me show you. It's a good point, Mary Ann. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So some people under communications. Okay, so who can send you invitations? One thing I just want to say is under this setting, you could change it so people need to know your email address to get an invitation. And then there's another one. I know what you're saying, Mary, and I want to find that for you. So you want to find, let's see. Say the question again, so come back to me while I'm looking.
want me to state the question?
The question one more time, yeah.
Oh, right, so sometimes when you look at someone's profile, there's not a connect button underneath their picture to connect with them. There's an email, but you can't connect.
Yeah, so normally I see that for third connections, and you have to click on the three dots in your profile, and one of those options would be connect.
But some people have turned off the ability to get invitations. See here? So I can turn this to no. I can turn messages off. I don't have to get network updates. I can turn everything off. So this is under communications in your settings. So you should come to this because some people do like turning this off. This is where you hate LinkedIn. You get all this garbage communication. So we'll come back here. So under communications, email frequency. This is where you get invitations, messages. Like group updates, you joined a bunch of groups, right? And so all these group updates from your college, undergrad, postgrad, you're getting all this stuff coming through. You hate it. So come in here and adjust it. That will make this more enjoyable. A lot of CEOs turn off a lot of these notifications. Financial executives, you could do it too. I don't want you to, but you can. Any more questions? Yes.
To get emails, can you only get emails if you have premium?
I'm sorry.
Emails. If you want
like
to
the
email
emails?
someone in.
So you could be a free member and someone can send you an email as a marketing promotion. You guys get that crap, right? Mm-hmm. So LinkedIn sells advertising. So LinkedIn will sell me the ability to send 5,000 emails if I want through LinkedIn to all CFOs in a particular industry or geography. And you could turn it off to receive all that stuff. Go through your settings. This is where you could stop a lot of this garbage coming in that you go, I don't want to receive that.
I'm talking about sending emails to members.
You can only send emails or in-mails to your first degree. If you're a free member, anyone you're connected to, you can send those messages to. Try to send somebody else, you can't. An in-mail is only a paid member feature. Make sense? Good stuff? So there's a lot of ground to cover. What I want to do is in your binder, I'm going to go through the profile recommendations. So if you look under that, and you go to, so I'm going to the home page, I'm going under me. I want to talk about profile, and I want to do some searching for everybody. So this is what our profile looks like. So this is the background, right? So that's the beautiful background. You can put in a background of any type, right? This is just my company background, but if I go and click on the pencil, this is where I can come in and edit everything. So this is where you edit the background. You guys all see that? The little icon there, little pencil. If your picture needs to be refreshed, right, or it's of somebody else, maybe fix that. This is where you can capitalize your name. I want to talk about headline. So your LinkedIn profile for all of you, look, if you're working, how many of you working get calls from recruiters? You get calls? Okay. Is that good? It is, because you're going to need them. Because you may need them for someone else, not yourself, right? It's okay to make your profile searchable. Get those calls from those recruiters. Keep in touch with them. It's not a bad thing to do, to have that listing of recruiters. Maybe you send to a buddy of yours, right? But your headline and everything you put in your profile is all searchable. It's keyword driven. How many of you are CFOs? How many of you in your profile only have the acronym because you think it sounds cooler? George, it is cool, but if I'm looking for a chief financial officer, you're not going to come up. So you have to have title variation. You can do that in your headline. Define yourself in your headlines, not just your title. Hey, I'm a chief financial officer. What else are you? Right? Technical accounting expert. Subject matter expert. No. Okay. But you could say things about yourself that define who you are. Look, I did a program, Sean, I'm sorry, for a bank in Wisconsin. It's Wisconsin. And so this will make sense why I say this. In his headline, he said he's a bacon lover. That makes sense. Like, you wouldn't say it in Chicago, you'd say it in Wisconsin. No. Okay.
Cheese lover.
cheese.
Well, but you can say bacon up there too, right? Pork and cheese. But Chicago, I don't know. But you can have fun, but you can really define yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And have like title variation. And then you may say you want to put different symbols in your profile. A lot of people say they want to put stars or other symbols or vertical lines. Any profile you see, go look at the profile, and you could hover over what you like, and you can copy and paste it into your profile. So I do want to talk about some things here that are important. In this section, this is really your summary. You could upload articles that are relevant. What about press releases for your business? Maybe you want to upload, a recent filing. Just share it with people because it's a great one. Because your name's on it, right? It's up to you, but you can share anything in this summary section. But some of you may not have a summary. When I look at profiles, for a lot of people, it's not just you in the room. A lot of times it's not very defining of who you are. So there's a financial executive I've been helping in transition, and his profile is kind of bland, but he had a full profile. So he told me Jack, the former CEO of GE, 6 months after retirement, came out to meet with him and spend time with him in his company. And he had some really cool stories. I said, why don't you put a line in your summary? Ask me about my unique experiences with Jack, formerly GE's CEO. So anyone, hiring executive, looking at a profile, let's say I'd like to talk to you about that. A lot of people think your profile is your resume. It really is and it isn't, right? So has anyone included anything about themselves in their profile that's a little more personal? About working out or a hobby? Like, do you say, love to play golf on your resume? Anyone transition put that down? That's real appealing, to a hiring exec. Now, your resume and profile need to match up with your timelines and jobs and titles. But you can show people you're not boring, right? A lot of people think financial executives are boring. Are you guys boring? No. Who knows Tom Minicello? Who's Tom? Tom's a CFO, publicly held company. Frank, you know what Tom did. What did Tom do that's unique as a CFO?
He's run more marathons than all of us combined.
He ran a marathon in every state in the country. It took him 2 years. He had to do it in 4 hours or less. It was written up, publicized. It's in his profile. That's cool. Add something neat about yourself, right? Brand yourself. Really important to do. So your profile really is searchable on the internet and within LinkedIn. And so it's all about keywords. So repeat keywords. So here's your summary. This is my summary. My summary is repetition. You should have things about your role. A lot of you are in transition. What are all the titles you could be or that a recruiter would look for? VP of Finance is also CFO. Depends on company size, right? Could be Director of Finance. Could be Chief Accounting Officer. Think about all the title variation, how someone would look for you. And what about systems? Are we including all the systems, everything we've touched? Public, company background, SEC, CPA. How many of you have been asked, do you have a CPA? And that's critical. And you could pass over someone who doesn't with more experience because they want the CPA, they want the credential. And I see some people put it down once, put it down multiple times. So think about how you brand yourself, how you vary the information, and how you make yourself a little more interesting. So here's your job. So this is, again, where you're currently working. Brand the company. Why not? Brand yourself. Talk about what you do and repeat. So I've done this throughout my profile. You'll see expertise. Some people put specialties, but I've created repetition of some of the words. A lot of people don't know where to go to add these sections. If you click on Add New Profile Section, this is where if you don't have a summary, you can put it in. I have to come back and get back to that page so I can show you what that looks like. So here's where you can add a new profile section, and you can add the different sections. Accomplishments, publications, if you've been published, and projects, because a lot of you consult, and different information. This is all searchable. So we got a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time. What I want to say in your profile, scroll down, make sure you have repetition, what you do, and give yourself credibility, who you are. If you volunteer, who's philanthropic? Anyone philanthropic? Why not? So those are, raise your hands. Did you put something in your profile about what you do? Put it in there, right? I mean, that's good. It shows your well-rounded skills. So the first 3 skills on the phones when people look you up and on the desktop are prominent. When you get back, make a note. Look at your skills. Are these relevant skills, the first 3 that are shown? If they're not, click on the pencil. Once you click on the pencil here, you could reorder your skills to put the most prominent 3. A lot of people say I'm sick of skills and endorsements. It's because originally LinkedIn lets you give yourself credibility. You could say that you were very good at working with SAP, but you didn't understand SAP. You were told to understand it, but you said you're an expert because you thought that would be good, right? People, oh, expert, right? So that's good. Well, LinkedIn lets people endorse you now and say you are good at things. A lot of people don't like it, so I look at all my skills, and I could adjust my endorsement settings, and I can get rid of it. I can say I don't care. Why are endorsements important or not? More important are your skills. You could have 50 that, again, are searchable. You know those people? You just want to make a sale versus, you know, people like me and Mary Ann and Sean and others that they want to build a trusting relationship of love and understanding. Okay. But think about the people you connect with. But you know what? People like myself and Sean and Mary Ann, we know when there's a need at a company, that there's going to be a CFO going away, a controller going away, and we have the relationship at the C-suite to bring you in. So build the right relationships. How many of you go on LinkedIn? I already know you didn't do it for me, but you're going into a board meeting. How many of you have looked up the people that are in the board meeting on LinkedIn? How many of you have sent them an invitation to connect? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I meet with CFOs that go, yeah, I'm networking. Who are you networking with? 3 of the board members from my company that I was let go from, right? But he or she built great relationships with the board. Nothing wrong with it, right? Unless it's prohibited activity. But look at the people on the board. What about, you know, you're walking into a company, got a new team. Do you look up your team that's coming to meet with you on LinkedIn? See how crappy their profiles are, right? You can tell I went to a workshop, you gotta work on this. But, you know, what about if you're interviewing someone for your team? Have you looked them up on LinkedIn? And then if they're second degree, looked up who you share in common? Now, we all know from an HR point of view, you cannot say, oh yeah, I found some dirt on you, did some research, this isn't going to go well for you. You can't do that. But it may help guide your interview, right? So I encourage you, use LinkedIn, do the research, ask the questions. How about this? Anyone get a new CEO they're reporting to? Ever happen in your career? And what are they doing, the new CEO, when they come in to meet with you? Are they interviewing you? Why don't you look them up, see you share in common, get some insights. Yeah, when you talk with Tom, the new CEO, don't talk about Trump. You may learn that information from a shared connection. And that may save you your job. Or talk about Trump. Talk about the Cubs. Don't talk about the Sox. A lot of insights you can gain. So really do that research. So has anyone seen the new way that you can do a first degree search of your network connection? Okay, so let's give Steve some airtime because he's in my binder. We all know Steve. Steve's relaxing now, a little R&R. You actually do get to retire sometimes, right? So here's Steve. Now, some people block their networks. Did you ever wonder how you know now with the new platform if someone blocked their network? So in the upper right of a first degree connection, if you see it says C connections, that means their network's open. If you don't see this, you'll just see mutual connections below their headline box. But Steve is a kind guy, opened up his network. So this is the new way to kind of scroll through someone's network. By the way, free members, you guys aren't going to do a lot of these searches like a salesperson, but free members have a search limit. So as you start searching for business partners, vendors, peers, every time you do these searches, you may see a commercial search limit approaching. Has anyone had that happen? People in transition, you may see that happen if you don't have a paid membership. So we'll talk about that. But I'm looking at Steve's network. So this is how you see it says Steve Kalsher here. This is how you look at Steve's network now. On the phone app, it's a little bit different. You can kind of scroll through faster. I just like deselecting the first and second, if it lets me. And then I'll look at Steve's network. There are some engineering glitches with LinkedIn when they change to the new platform. I will tell you that, because we know Steve has more than 1,000 connections. But this is a way that I could look at Steve's network. So if you're going to be meeting with me and you're trying to find a job, there's some people you want to connect to, you could do this filtering of my network like this. You could pick out the locations, you can pick out past companies, industries, you can filter off to the right. for Steve's network.
And I've tried to, look, like say on this you want everybody who's done stuff with banking. And I've tried to use the keywords and it doesn't seem to allow me to, it gives me first name, last name, title, but it doesn't really allow me to use a keyword like banking.
Well, but you can go in the industry and pick out banking, right? But you gotta remember, this keyword here, this is title. So if you put in title, banking, it's gotta be in their title, right? So if you're looking for banking, we know, like Sean, you're in banking. What's your title in banking?
Vice President.
Of anything?
Commercial banking.
There you go. So that would be the title. Now this is the way I look through someone's network, what Jim is talking about. So I can come over here and I can type in banking. So I'm just doing a search of banking. Now maybe I want to scale that back a little bit and I want to do first degree. So I get investment banking, you get everything, right? So you start to pare that down. So that's how you could do a search, kind of like a keyword. Yeah, right.
In that display, originally, they used to show the industry that you assigned yourself, and now they don't.
No, industry was there off to the right.
No, I mean for the individual,
Oh, for like Steve?
yeah, what, the search.
When I was doing the search of Steve's
without
network?
specifying an industry, it shows the individual, how many times you're connected to them, what location,
No,
industry.
it's right here.
Over on the left. If you look at Larson, which industry is he in?
Oh, I see what you're saying. In their profile, right, you used to be able to see industry. So look at it this way. LinkedIn's free for majority of the people on LinkedIn. It's going to continue to be that way because they need it as a recruitment tool. But I will tell you, they took things out that aren't great. I've yelled, I've screamed. I know, like the third in command, it didn't matter. I asked him to release me from the 30,000 limit. He said, I don't care, Larry. It doesn't matter. So, but LinkedIn does listen to recommendations. They will, because they put back this first degree, they took it out. So they will listen to you for recommendations. So, but that's a good question. So what I would tell you here is, what kind of things can you do? So I mentioned the first degree networking means where you're in transition, you want to look at each other's networks. I showed you Steve Kalisher's network. You may want to search your contacts, right, and look at your contacts networks. Not in a face-to-face meeting, you're just doing some research. Very similar process. Then you may want to search for certain types of people. Has anyone recruited for their own team? Try to recruit a team member? Yeah. Right? So you went on LinkedIn. You could do that. Look, I work for a firm. We want to do that for you. But if your budget's been cut, you can't go to the outside, you have to make do and use tools like LinkedIn. You could do that. I mentioned the due diligence capability, searching for companies. So you can search for talent in companies in a very similar fashion. But let's say you want to search for a company. So if you want, you can come in here and click your cursor in the search window here. And it's going to bring me to a search where I'm going to look at my network. And I'm going to filter my network to the second degree. So let's say I'm sitting here in the CFO spot of a company. I got to find some acquisitions. We're too cheap. Can't go hire firms. I want to find a company to acquire. So I'm going to look at my second degree network because I want it to be a warm pathway to a company. So I look at industries. So I'm going to select food. Let's say I do something in the food and beverages space. So I've got 8,000 results here. But you know what? That's a lot. So you know what? Maybe I go, I want to find a New York zone in food and beverage to acquire. 442 results, second degree connections. And now I go, you know what? Let me see if I can find anyone with a CEO title. 32 results. Right, it's kind of cool, right? So now, if I wanted to expand that, and I go, you know what? I don't care. Maybe you'll pay for a membership to send them a full-blown email or in-mail, and you don't care if it's third degree. So I can expand that and take out the second. I got 1,594. So I could further filter here other things I want to, but for the most part, this may be really helpful. I did second degree. And so these may be people that I want to connect to that may be interested in selling their company to me, right? So very interesting ways to use LinkedIn that we probably don't think about. The last thing I shared here is this X-ray Boolean search. So if you want to do searches, verbatim, take that link, put it into Google. This is what recruiters do. This is what people do to do a massive search of Google by different titles and geographies. You can pull up a big list. So you can interchange things that I have in this little search string. So we're approaching 4:30. I threw a lot of stuff at you, but I gave you homework. And your homework page is go in there and create an introduction. Reach out and try to connect with people. Think smarter about how you network with people, how you research people when you're interviewing, when you're going to that board meeting, internal, external. Think about how you could add value, how you could network more effectively, connect with the right people. And then I gave you an advanced searches document, so all of you are sitting here going, what the hell was he doing? I made it easy for you to go back and use it. I want you to learn maybe 3 things today at a minimum. Do you think you walked away with 3 new things? Yes? Good use of your time? I'm done. Thank you.